Before we move along, let me give credit to the Colorado Parks and Wildlife. They created a booklet some years ago that I have used on many an occasion in instructing young people and adults in the skills of survival. Let me emphasize that this series is not like the TV shows that perhaps you've seen, where someone is dropped off somewhere in the wilderness, in the jungle, and they have to survive for a month, and the winner takes all. But this is not that kind of situation. That's not realistic for the everyday folks like you and me. Therefore, my focus is on helping you to survive for a night or two until you are rescued. At the outset as well, let me say that preparation is the key to survival. You're going on a hike? Wonderful. Be sure that A, you tell someone where you're going. B, that you've packed a small pack with the survival essentials, with some water, with some proper clothing in case the weather changes, and at the trailhead that you sign in. Now you're ready to take off. You are prepared, and ideally you have a buddy with you. But despite all your preparation, things happen. Perhaps a mistake in judgment. Perhaps it doesn't look the same on the way back in the trail, and you thought you'd take a shortcut. You're confused, and all of a sudden you realize things are not recognizable. This is where your training comes to play. The first step you need to do at the outset here is to admit that you are lost. Now, this may seem to be kind of a common sense kind of thing, but alas, it isn't. It's amazing how many folks panic in their attempts to find their way out. So the first step is to admit to yourself that you are lost. Then psychologically, you can focus on what's important to do without panicking. And what you do is you retrace your steps calmly. You try to see if you find something recognizable. After doing that for a while, you realize, I'm still as lost as I was a little while ago. And so now, at this point, it's getting to be mid-afternoon perhaps, kind of what it is here in the mountains. And you have a decision to make, and you should make it. Commit yourself to spending the night. Now, you may be found before then, but it's important in your preparation to commit yourself to spending the night. And this is where the big three essentials come to play, both in knowledge and in practice. Let me make an addendum at this point. Don't concern yourself with food. Yes, it'd be great to have a fine meal when you're lost in the woods, but it is not essential to your survival. So put it out of your mind. You can survive over a month without food. Water is more of an essential, and hopefully you brought that in your pack and you're using it sparingly. And if you're conserving your energy, you won't need as much as you think you would. You can go without water for a couple of days. They say 3. So the last thing not to concern yourselves too much is animals. There are animals out there, but they're more interested in other things than finding you. So put that also out of your mind. And with some of the things that you'll be doing, that won't be a problem in scaring any would-be creatures away. On to the big three. The big three essentials. These are skills that you should practice and be aware of. Number one, signaling. Number two, shelter building. Number three, fire making. We're going to go through these one by one, and I would encourage you to practice, because when it's time for you to need it, if that ever should happen, you don't want to make that the time to practice. And there should be in your kit, your survival kit, something that goes along with each of these big three: signaling, shelter building, fire making. First one is signaling.